This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services located on Kern Street in Exeter, Pennsylvania. Springtime is here, and that means it is time to start thinking about getting your yard looking its best. Do you really want to be in your yard all weekend digging things up and planting something new? Wouldn't you rather spend time with your family by the pool or doing fun things with the kids this summer instead of cutting the grass? Let the professionals at Keller's handle the hard stuff. They are family-owned and operated and looking forward to assisting you. Visit them on their social media page for more information. Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Get your free estimate today. Welcome to the Popko Project Podcast, a platform for the discussion and discovery of arts and entertainment. We focus on highlighting people and events that add value to the world around us. Visit us on all social media platforms by searching the Popko Project or visit our website at thepopkoproject.com. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for listening. And we're live. Welcome to the show. Cold Kingdom from Minneapolis. How you guys doing? How you doing?
We're doing awesome.
Awesome. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us, dude.
our pleasure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So I was not familiar with you guys prior to setting this all up. So obviously the good host that I am, how are you guys not bigger? How are you guys not signed to a label already?
Honestly, that's one of the biggest questions we get asked, and we're like, "We're trying, guys. We're really trying."
We're working the hustle. I don't know.
Jeez.
It just goes to show, like, the music industry is extremely difficult. And I started this band 8 years ago, and it's just a thing that, like, there's a lot of people out there that like your music. It's just getting it to those people to begin with, you know, like
The right people.
every band would have 1 million plus fans if they could have it in the hands of those listeners across the globe instantly. And just like, the problem is they don't know about you until
Right.
we finally find a way to reach them. So that's the
Yeah.
biggest.
You really have to play the algorithm game and the digital marketing and all that kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a constant, ever-changing battle. The algorithm is, like, at one point it was Snapchat, you know, like, that's not even a thing anymore that, like, has anything to do with what we're doing.
It's all about
This
the
is just like
TikTok.
now it's
Yeah,
TikTok.
you got to get those TikToks.
At one point it was like just YouTube ads, and you got to get, you know, Facebook location ads, and it's always sort of like changing to like, well, we just want to get it into people's ear holes and get them listening to it. So it's just finding the right way to do it and finding the ways that people consume music so that we can be like, oh, that's how you consume music. Let's, you know, get it in front of you somehow.
Right. Well, we'll get more into that, but I want to ask you who I have the pleasure of speaking with and your roles in the band.
I'm Elisa. I'm
Elisa.
I scream into microphones.
And very well, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm Evan. I'm the guitar player.
Cool. Well, yes, thank you guys again for joining me.
Yeah, we're
Members.
hitched. What
Oh,
the
yeah,
hell?
we did it.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Is this like a recent marriage?
Almost a year in August.
Yeah, 1 year in August.
All right, 1 year in August. So you're you know, if you make it your first year, you'll be all right.
I
I feel like I'm looking into like a mirror. I just interviewed a band. Well, not just. I shouldn't say that. It was last year at some point. There's a band called Eternal Frequency. They're from my area, and my area is like northeastern Pennsylvania. They might be like further south than northeastern PA, but female fronted band. They are not married, but they are together.
Mhm.
So yes, this is weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like people always bring up like Fleetwood Mac. I'm like, well, Lizzie Hale and Joe in Halestorm have been together
for years.
14 years. And people always go back to like, oh yeah, but Fleetwood Mac, like way back in the day in terms of like a band couples, like it's like, okay.
People do it though, like, and it makes it so much easier just to like commit to something and put everything into it when you and your significant other are both like working toward the same goal,
Yeah, so let's talk about that. First of all, I said looking into a mirror. That makes absolutely no sense.
I wasn't going to call you out on it.
that makes zero sense. There's two of you, one of me. But like deja vu, I guess you could say. Like, yeah. So I mean, I could understand how being in a band together would be beneficial because you have the same schedule.
Yeah. The tough part is when you are a band member who has, someone else at home, that other someone else can be taking care of things and,
financially too.
Financially, you still got some money coming in from them working.
So like when we go on tour, we're both gone from our house. Like our dog has both of their parents gone. Our bass player and our drummer, they both have wives that aren't in the band, so they get to stay home and take care of the household and the pets and everything while they're gone.
That'd be
it's a little bit more of a strategic sort of planning thing for us. We gotta, we only have one dog right now, and that's kind of like the one thing that we have to worry about in terms of finding someone to take care of or getting boarding or something like that. And then we just went to Daytona for an entire week. I didn't have enough PTO at my own job to pay for that. I got like 15 hours PTO for that entire week. So it's like it's sacrifices, really.
It really is.
I used to have it.
Whether you're with whether you're together with someone in your band or apart, like there's sacrifices like on everybody's part for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's got to be a lot too. And on the flip side, being in a band together, it's a lot of time spent together. I don't think that, and my wife will agree, I don't think that I could ever work with my wife because it's good for us to have that little bit of a separation. Now, it sounds like you guys have like full-time day jobs.
Yeah. Yep.
So you have your time part there. But I mean, being in a band is a relationship, as many bands know that. So you're having your own personal relationship, and then you're adding the band aspect. Is that ever an issue as far as who's right and who's wrong or things like that?
No, we're pretty cohesive. It's more of when you get out on the road, you're in a van, and we're used to spending our time together. But when you're in a van, you're with in our case 2 other guys, and it's like everyone kind of becomes a family at that point, and it's just more of like finding our way to still be husband and wife in terms of like our normal routines when we're at home, and still feeling like we're a couple on the road, but we're also bandmates on the road. Yeah. And there's got to be that separation in terms of like you can't just be like, okay, now we're not a couple.
We're just the band.
Now we're just bandmates. Like, all right, well, you're gonna be divorced in 3 months if that's the case.
No, but like apart from that, we've been like pretty lucky with seeing eye to eye, or like if we're not on the same page at first, like we kind of find that middle page somewhere as far as like just like band business goes. Yeah, we don't really argue a lot on that.
That's good. I assume
so knock on wood.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you make it through that first year, you're golden. But I guess you as a band, like the 4 of you, or is it 4 total, right?
Yep, 4.
I guess you guys are pretty on the same page as well, because I can only imagine like the other 2 members, they look at you guys as like a unit, and they can't break you guys up. Like, of course, you're going to take each other's side.
I mean,
what I'm saying?
Sometimes, not all the time. I mean, we've been on opposing sides, but like, we can talk about it like
that's good.
Rationally and like.
Yeah, I mean, there's always
take away the emotion.
There's always been a thing in our band where if you have a problem, you just sit everyone down and you tell them. You don't.
Everyone's very open.
It's good.
We've always had, we've had a few big band meetings where it's like, most bands it would be an argument, and for us it's like just a discussion, like it doesn't, no one ever yells at each other. It's just like, this is how I'm feeling. This is, what I need to get off my chest. And I think the fact that we do that and don't hold things in is kind of a testament to why we've been together, so long, and why we have this group of people in this band right
now. Like if one of them's going to be an asshole, I'm going to be like, you're being kind of an asshole, dude. And then they'll be like, yeah, I know, it's, we're very open. It's very much like a really good friendship, really good relationship, family type situation. So we just kind of like put everything out there.
Cool. Well, you guys make it sound easy, so that's good.
I don't know if it's easy, but
well, it sounds easy. You make it sound easy.
So. For now.
We'll leave it at that. We won't dig much further into your.
We got a good family going.
That's good. That's good.
Like, you get the right people, it makes it easier. If you're in a band with the wrong people, you're going to know pretty quick, and you're going to have a lot of fights. So we're lucky in that regard.
Yeah. So I mean, Cold Kingdom. Who is Cold Kingdom? How did it start? What are you guys all about?
Cold Kingdom was kind of
his brainchild.
It was like a side project that I wanted to do. I call it a side project. I didn't have anything else going on. It was just
I like that.
And my producer for my previous band came to me and he was like, "Oh, it's probably time to start recording some stuff." And it was literally just the songs that I had, and there was no one else. It was just me and him, and so that's why I call it a side project, because I wasn't intending to make a band. I kind of wanted to do like a thing where you get some good musicians, throw down, and maybe do like a rotating vocalist kind of guest thing, and just put out some digital albums, and just kind of as like a thing for fun online. And then our original singer Danny was someone that our producer knew through a friend, and I kind of contacted the drummer for my previous band, and we kind of made this original release that ended up getting us to more auditions for a full band. And it was kind of like one day I walked in, and after our original 2 songs, I had given out, a couple more demos to work on, and we kind of sat down and went, "I guess we're making a band, aren't we?" And I was like, "Well, shit, I guess we are." So that's kind of what it turned into. And then over the course of time, our original singer ended up leaving and wanting to spend more time, at home and not on the road and things like that. And now
and that's when I came into the mix a little bit. They started looking for a new singer, and it was actually kind of funny the way it happened. So my family's really big on like karaoke and that kind of thing. So one night in April of like 2018, I think it was, my family and I, we all went out to karaoke at this like random like dive bar, which Jason, our now bass player, he worked there, and there's karaoke there, and like I got up and sang, and went home, didn't think anything of it. The next day he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, like, how are things going with you?" And I was in a band at the time. He's like, "How are things going with you and the band that you're in right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, like great. Like we're recording an album. We're gonna do this and blah blah blah." And I was like, "I'm so happy to like see and hear that things are going so great for you guys. Like I had always been a huge fan of them." And then he's like, "Actually, like our singer, we're parting ways, and like kind of wanted to know if you were interested." And I'm like, "Oh my God," like freaking out because they were one of my favorite bands. And then, we just kind of started hanging out, and they'd asked me to be in the band a couple times. I originally said no because I was trying to focus on my own stuff. And so then they asked me to put some vocals down on some songs, just to kind of put some vocals to it and see how it could sound so they could audition other singers. And we just it was a trick. They tricked me because they knew that once I started singing those songs, they were like, "Oh, will you come to the practice space and sing some of the old songs just for shits and giggles and whatever." And then, so now here I am 4 years later, the singer.
And now we're married.
So was the original singer a female?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you guys kind of just switched the front duties. And did you guys know each other prior to you joining the band?
Like kind of, but
okay.
like knew of each other. Because I was in another pretty prominent like female band in the area. We weren't doing as much like as far as like touring and stuff, but I think they all knew of me. I knew of them. Like Cold Kingdom was one of my favorite bands. Like not even like on a local basis, just like one of my favorite bands before I joined them. And so we all kind of like went to each other's shows and stuff. And so we knew of each other, didn't like maybe have like personal relationships at that time. But yeah, we definitely knew each other existed.
Yeah, we weren't hanging out, but
yeah.
And then you were forced to hang out and you fell in love and happily ever after, right?
That's
pretty much.
It's going so far, so
yeah. Here we are.
Sounds like a Disney movie.
Yeah, it's the best.
I love Disney. It's my favorite thing ever.
I just got back from Disney about a month ago.
Oh.
Disney World or Disneyland?
Disney World.
Okay, correct answer. I love it.
This is about to become a Disney World.
Oh,
podcast.
Seriously, I love Disney so much. For my adult life, so I never really went there as a child, but as an adult, I've gone there like 13 times, probably like every year for 15 years, pretty much.
I'm so fascinated by the adult that finds joy in Disney. I'm not making fun of it. It just for me.
Yeah,
like,
no, because we'll be fighting, and then I'll just like close. No, just kidding.
Well, we went with my kid's 4.5 years old, so and we were supposed to go 2 years ago, but I think it actually worked out well because at 2 years old, my wife keeps saying, well, he would have been free, which is great and all, but he would not have remembered or had as much fun as he did at 4.5.
Yeah.
But it's far from a vacation. Everyone says that, I need a vacation from my vacation, but that should be reserved for those who go to Disney with children. Because
go there just like as an adult, like you and your wife. I
kids.
promise you, and get the food package, like the dining package with drinks. Like it's amazing.
You can't tell at all, but my body, although not made for a beach, is a beach guy. I'm a beach guy. I like laying on the beach, relaxing, or maybe just a pool, having some drinks. My wife had us up and at the parks between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. every day.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we were there early. We were there for 5 days. And I don't know how she did it because she's currently 7.5 months pregnant. So she at the time was like 6.5 months. Oh, thank you. But she was like doing better than all of us. I don't know how she was able to push on being pregnant, but
magic. That's what
it is. Disney magic, man.
That's what it is. It's Disney magic.
That's fairy dust, man. I tell you.
I mean, we went on a cruise, Royal Caribbean cruise for our honeymoon, and like the relaxation of just like, especially we made a stop in Jamaica.
We didn't.
Or the Bahamas. Sorry, I get them confused.
He's never been on a cruise. Like this was his first cruise, but somehow he's like mistaking the Bahamas with Jamaica. He's never even been to Jamaica.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Bahamas, and then they had the private island for Royal Caribbean, and it was just like, you have the drink package, you go on the private island for Royal Caribbean, all the drinks are free because you have the drink package, so it extends out there, and it's just like swim up bars and beaches, and that's my kind of vacation.
I prefer the hustle and bustle of Disney.
There was a moment where I was laying under an umbrella on a beach chair, and the breeze was coming in from the ocean. There's a storm off in the distance, and the air was the exact same temperature as my body, and I didn't know where my body ended and the world began, and I literally thought to myself, this is the most relaxed I have ever been or will ever be.
Yeah, that's my kind of vacation too. I'm not, but I have kids now, so that's not going to happen for I don't know how long. But there's a certain joy of seeing them happy. So,
child, we'll babysit.
I'll stop in Minneapolis.
All right.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's on the way.
We were just almost out to Pennsylvania, I think, right? We were in Ohio.
We were in Ohio, but
We had some people come from Pennsylvania to see us at a show in Ohio. So
That's
I
cool.
don't know how close it actually is.
How far this way have you gotten?
Akron, Ohio.
That's the furthest?
Yeah. So we had some
Cleveland.
people from a band, Eden on Fire. They came out. They're from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Okay. All right.
But
Yeah,
they came out to Akron. So
okay. Well, you'll have to come out, on the East Coast, because I feel like your music is very similar to like that of Breaking Benjamin, who are from my area, or I shouldn't say it's not mine, but
I love Breaking Ben.
Yeah.
I actually had Aaron Bruck, the bass player, on this show before. He's a good friend of mine.
That's awesome.
I had Aaron Fink, the former guitar player, on before. Both great guys, and a great band. I mean, they were playing local clubs here in my area for, I don't know when that was, probably like early 2000s, maybe late 90s. But yeah, come on over. This area, this side of the country loves, music like yours.
Yeah, and that's the thing we've kind of just through happenstance had to do either Midwest, or we'll go down like Texas, then West Coast, and then up to Washington and then back. And it's always just kind of been the circumstances of what we're doing at the time, or like the last 2-week tour that we did was kind of down with a band from Nashville area, I think they're from. But we kind of made a bit of a route down to Clarksville, Tennessee. We kind of did Midwest and came back up. So everything any band has ever told us is just go east. All of the cities are like just a few hours apart. You can get to so many cities in such a little amount of time, but we're always stuck going like, well, we'll drive to Texas and 7 hours between each city. And
then of course we go to Florida and we couldn't like find anything.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of late notice, but
yeah, that's definitely on our list for tours is finally getting out to the New England area and exploring literally every city out there.
Yeah, you gotta do it. New York, Philly. What else? What are some other good stops? Boston, yeah.
Yeah, we want to get out on the East Coast a little more. Farthest north I've been on the East Coast has been Charleston. So
okay,
yeah.
Well, you got some work to do. And I said, like, I mean, it's in the vein of Breaking Ben. Obviously, you have a female-fronted band, but like, what is Cold Kingdom? Like, if someone's like, I'm asking you right now, what are you guys? What is your sound? I know what I think it sounds like, but maybe you can say it better.
As a whole, it's tough to say because we all have very different influences.
Okay.
It's kind of a, it's like for me, it's classic guitar mixed with modern heavy with heavy female vocals. She's a huge Lacey Sturm fan, and Halestorm.
I was going to say that too. Yes. Evanescence
for sure. I grew up on things like Boston and Metallica and Guns N' Roses, and then grew into in my high school days like Breaking Benjamin and Halestorm at the time, and it was kind of a transition for me going from like learning all these classic hard rock metal songs into like all of this new shit hits so much harder, and kind of like transitioning into that. And I feel like my style musically for songwriting and guitar playing at some point got stuck in the middle there, and it's just kind of like shit that feels good to me in terms of like doesn't need to always be super tragic or super I never go full metal, and I never go full like soft. So it's somewhere in the middle for me. But.
That sounds like a description of a porno.
Never go full soft.
never go full metal.
Oh my God.
Is that inappropriate? Should I not have said that?
Never go full soft. You'll get the job done.
My face red.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I'll just go a little more simple. We're like we're just hard rock with a female vocal that is unapologetic. I don't know. I mean, for me, I was trained in like I did like musical theater and a lot like choir and that kind of thing. So I'm trained that way vocally, but then like the grit kind of came after. So it's just very it really is a mix between like Evanescence and Halestorm, Flyleaf as far as like a vocal goes. But I
all
like lyrics and the vocal melody, that is very, very important to the band. Like just every song, yes, we're hard rock, but like every song really, really has a meaning and like this heartfelt message behind it. So I think that's something to be said about our band as well.
Well, I think that helps bands be relatable. I just actually released it today, an episode with Scooter Ward from Cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
And such a cool guy, and just humble, and just was really focused on writing honest songs.
That's so important.
Yeah.
So important.
And you said you were trained? Did you take vocal lessons and
well, okay, no, not trained. I never like I've taken maybe 2 vocal lessons in my life just to prepare for like something. Like I auditioned for The Voice, and so I took vocal lessons a couple times before that. But like other than that, like I've never been like actually trained, but I did musical theater and that kind of stuff. So we had like, you know, choir coaches, vocal coaches, that kind of stuff, just to prepare us for like musical theater things. But other than that, I was never like one-on-one really trained or anything
right.
like that. So.
And did you think that you'd be doing this today when you were doing all that?
I always dreamed I would be.
Okay.
Like, so when I was younger, I think I took guitar lessons one time and like for a semester or something in high school or junior high. And my dad really, really wanted me to play guitar. And I kind of did that for a while, and then that kind of dropped off. And I got into musical theater, but I always wrote, like had these diaries and notebooks and stuff. I would always write lyrics and always like would fantasize about being in this rock band and whatever. And then after I turned like 19 or 20, I kind of got into some cover bands. And so I was like, cool. I'm living my life. I'm doing my thing. Like, this is really great. And because I used to just do karaoke and that kind of thing. And so got into doing cover bands. So I was doing live performances with a real band, and then auditioned for my first like actual like original band. And that kind of grew into something. And then these guys found me, and the rest is kind of history.
That's awesome. I always like it. It's always cool when just kind of all just falls into place.
Yeah. Like randomly, weirdly fell into place, but yeah.
And I feel like from what you're saying, like the vocals in this band are kind of different from anything you've been a part of prior. It just kind of happens. It's almost effortless.
Yeah, I mean, well, so even the band that she was in before, she wasn't doing what she's doing now. So
no, I always wanted to go like harder rock and like
full hard, yeah.
Well, because the band that I was in before, so I formed this band. There were these twins that I was acquainted with. They were in probably like, I don't know what, 10, 15 years ago. They were in probably one of the hardest rock female fronted bands in our area. And that kind of fell apart, and they moved on. And then once they got to me, they didn't really want to do the hard rock thing anymore. They were
a little more pop oriented.
Yeah. Like soft rock. But I really wanted to do the hard rock stuff. So then once I joined up with these guys, it was just like, oh, this is what's supposed to happen. Like, this is where I want to be.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Well, now we're married.
And
circle back.
Make this shit up. Can't make this up.
Yeah.
Now you're married. What a world. What a story.
I like throwing caution to the wind and just like not trying to plan things out, because then eventually you find a way down a path that you never thought you'd go down, and then you end up
get really screwed over. One of the two.
50-50 chance.
I was gonna say you end up married to the love of your life, but I get screwed over too. But
maybe that's ahead of you. I hope not.
These are the words of like someone that's never been effed over before.
So is a chance.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't sound like too nice of a guy to get effed over.
Yeah, I try.
You'll be all right.
He's the best.
Right. There you go.
Do what I can.
So you have a few albums out. You came in to the fold. You said 2018.
Yeah.
So are you on the Into the Black Sky?
That's me.
That's
that was my debut as a singer.
Okay. And that was released in 2019. And then you put out a single, I think, earlier this year called Criminal with Ashes of New. There's Danny from that band, right?
Danny Case.
Danny Case from Ashes to New. And we got a music video out for that as well back in February. And currently it's on the Media Base Active Rock charts. It's number 46 on their charts right now. So we're still pushing that and continuing to put out new music at the same time. So
right. And then you followed that up with another release recently called Agony.
Yes.
And you also have a music video for that.
Yeah, so we released that a couple Fridays ago. That was our newest music video. Agony is the second single, and we just got the master done for our third single as well. So we're going to be hoping to release that here in the next couple months and keep things rolling.
With the music video.
With the music video again. So thing about this project right now that we're working on is we've never done more than 2 music videos really for a debut release. We're really pushing hard to make content that keeps people interested and really grabs their attention every time we put down a new single. And the thing is, bands don't want to put out a 10-song album and people only hear the singles and don't listen to the rest of it. So we're making a pretty concentrated effort to get everyone to actually hear every song on this album as we're coming out with them, so that it's more of every song kind of gets their moment to shine. And Criminal and Agony are the first 2.
So will you eventually put out a full album after you do a few of the singles?
Yeah, so we should have the entire album out hopefully
October.
Sometime this fall. So
okay.
A lot of singles and full length sometime this fall.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about these? You mentioned the content and putting it out and all these singles. I mean, that's how kind of bands like live by now. It's putting out singles every 6 weeks or so. And then some bands don't even put out the full length. They'll just keep doing the singles. And we talked earlier when we first started about algorithms and digital marketing. Like, do you enjoy the singles and doing it that way? Do you find it difficult? How does that all play into your strategy as far as a band goes and trying to get your name out there? Because it's so saturated, it's oversaturated, right? I mean, as great as these music platforms are, you have Spotify and Apple and Google and all those things that are out there. Like, everyone could put their music out there. Like, I'm an idiot and I have a podcast on these platforms. Like, any bozo can do it. Like, so I'll go back to the start of my question. I'm sorry for making it so long, but like, how do you like kind of navigate all of it?
It's kind of what you have to do nowadays, just to keep everybody's attention, because like there are so many bands and so many artists that are putting things out there. So it actually is beneficial for us to just like keep putting things out there every month or month and a half. So I mean, I think it's beneficial, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what you have to do at this point.
As a songwriter, it definitely feels better to do it kind of like one song at a time, because, a song doesn't make, an album or a collection of 10 songs without being better than another song that didn't make the cut, So when you actually put these songs out, you want to make sure that people actually hear it and like that you get to do it. It's justice when you put it out. There were, probably a good handful of songs on our last album, Into the Black Sky, where we did A New Disaster, which was the lead single, and then we put the album out. And I was like, okay, well, now after the album's out, we're going to do a lyric video, and we're going to try to do another video, which we came out with almost a year after the album had already been out. And then you start thinking about, well, these are 2 other songs here that we want to do music videos for. And it starts to be like, well, now we're so far down the line of the album being out that people don't care about those songs anymore.
Yeah, like their attention span is just like, everybody's attention span is so short. So just like continuously putting out that content and, not putting out the full album and then being like, here, this is a song you've already heard how many ever times, and we're going to give you a video for this now. Like you just got to keep it exciting for your fan base and for the viewers, audience,
and for us.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think it's kind of cool too, because like a lot of bands, I talk to, like they almost treat like the video release and the song as if that was the album. They make a big deal out of those releases. Yeah, and you're right. A world we live in today is, we constantly, as people, we need something new and something new to consume. And we want updates from our favorite musicians or favorite comedians or whatever it might be. Yeah. But I did just talk to a band last week. They are putting out a 15-song album. Yeah. 15 songs. I couldn't believe it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was, pandemic related, obviously. I mean, they had 2 years to... And I started with 4. Their band name is Stay Loud. That's like I don't want to call them pop punk. I mean, this new album is kind of like a bunch of different, I don't say different genres, but they took some risks and some chances on it. But maybe punk rock is a better term to use. But 15 songs. I couldn't believe it.
Man, yeah, Alter Bridge will come out with 14 songs, except their songs will be, anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes. And even I'm a huge Alter Bridge fan, but I'll get to that 12th song and be like, all right, come on now.
But, are you also a Creed fan?
No.
Come on.
No.
This was going so well.
I appreciate Creed. I appreciate what Creed did, but
open the door for Alter Bridge.
Well, they had good songs and then opened the door for Alter Bridge, but the whole like trying to come back and revive it, and like they put out a new album, must be like 6 or 7 years ago, so I guess it's not that new, but like that part, I'm just kind of like, just let it be what it was, like there was some good hits on there, and I've moved on. I'm way happier with Alter Bridge. I've never been a Nirvana fan that much, and I love Foo Fighters, so it's kind of a similar situation there. But yeah.
All right, Nickelback.
I've seen Nickelback. They
have catchy ass songs. Like don't hate.
Yeah.
His voice does. There's some frequency in his voice though that just like after a certain amount of time, I can't hear that frequency anymore. And I don't know, it's just something with the way he sings. But like, I remember they came out with what was the really heavy single they came out with on their last album?
Photograph.
No.
Hey, how dare you? I love that song.
Joking. I'm kidding.
I love that song. Don't make this go south.
Something about war. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like a really heavy...
Sorry, I just have to make a smart ass comment.
I know, it's fine. It's fine.
Really, like, this song was like years and years of like everyone making fun of Nickelback all the time, and they came out with like a really heavy lead single, and like everyone that was saying shit,
songs,
they turned around, they're like, oh wow, Nickelback gaining my respect right now. And I was like, guys, they've been doing heavy shit for longer than any of you guys remember. Like, are you just ignoring all of that shit too? Like,
yeah, was it
focus on the memes? And
was it Feed the Machine?
Yeah, it was Feed the Machine.
Yeah, great song.
Came out. People were like, oh yeah, they're finally getting heavy. I'm like, this isn't even heavier than the shit they put out already. Like,
well, I think what happened was they put out, like, you know, there was Photograph in that album, which was, I think, great, but like the albums after that were real bad. Like, in my opinion, for whatever it's worth, they were bad. They were like, I don't know, they were soft. It just wasn't good. And then they came back with that one like 3 albums later. And I feel like it was like, okay, people forgot like of the good stuff in the past. They remember the soft stuff and the shitty songs, and then they came back with that. So I think that's where that came from.
Like, I remember like Side of a Bullet, you know, like that was a heavy song. I don't know if I can swear on this podcast, but
it's the internet. It's the internet. You do whatever the fuck you want.
That's what I remember. I'm like, yeah, they do heavy shit. So
yeah,
people just forget about that or didn't even know. Apparently.
Yeah. But you guys have also opened up for some pretty big names. From what I saw in your bio, you have bands like Chevelle, Papa Roach, Buck Cherry, Puddle of Mud, Nonpoint. Are there any of those that really stand out to you that was like, wow, that was like, you know, amazing?
Well, we've been very fortunate. You do yours first.
We played a festival called Moondance Jam a couple years ago, before COVID, and the biggest headlining band on that, well, the headlining band was Lynyrd Skynyrd. Like, not saying I'm like a huge fan, like I think everyone's just like automatically like a grandfather like fan of that band because it's Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's a very big band. The most memorable thing, they forgot fans, like fans for
like
not like
fans.
Not like people fans, like
right.
So like fans, like stage
blowing fans, yes.
So yeah, to keep you cool. So they borrowed our fans, and me and our drummer Chris, we went out after like the show was all done, but like the Lynyrd Skynyrd fans, they were still like in the like crowd or whatever. So like him and I went out there to go like retrieve our fans, but like we're still out there and we're like, this is the biggest crowd we've ever seen. Like, so that was kind of a cool experience.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was definitely a fun one. We did the outdoor show. So we played with Buck Cherry a couple times, but the last time was an outdoor show in Wisconsin with that Elias. No, not
no.
Who was it?
No. Wait, Hinder.
It was a Hinder and Buck Cherry show, and we opened the stage. And that was a really awesome like outdoor show that kind of like timing wise was when things were starting to open up more during COVID. Because during COVID, like I started thinking we might not get to ever do a show like that again. And so to be able to get to that point where we're, you know, on that stage, you know, we had played our set and now we're watching them do their thing.
Like side stage. That was
thousands
really cool.
of people. And that was like, you know, they had the inner kind of festival ground area for the people that were okay with being there. And then on the outside, you could have, there was all this parking. So you could drive your car in and you could park there and watch it from your car. Like people had like campers set up. People were like laying on the hood of their car watching. Like it was awesome just to look out and see just tons of people and like all these cars with people just like celebrating, like finally being back to, you know, being at a rock show after, you know, months and months of no bands
being
playing anywhere. Yeah. So that was a really fun one. And then we had done, we've done a show, or we did a tour with Shinedown on the West Coast. We've done Papa Roach and Chevelle at one of the larger venues here in the Twin Cities. And we've just been very lucky to have good connections with our local radio stations and venue owners and promoters, and be able to get on things like that really make dreams come true for us, like bucket list shows and bands that we never could have imagined that we'd be on stages with.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you got set up with those shows. It's just kind of networking.
Yeah, we've never really had a booking agent for more than, like a few months. It's literally
our bass player has basically done all of our booking, Jason.
Yeah,
He's been amazing.
Yeah. He worked as a booking agent for a short time with an actual company, and he's done literally all of our networking in terms of like shows getting booked.
And it's just him like reaching out to people, and
yeah, it's just number one, be a good band. Number two, believe in your product. Number three, be a good human being and make connections with people that you want to have connections with and treat them well.
Yeah.
Right. And if you can open up for anybody, who would it be?
Lacey, Sturm, or Halestorm. Or actually like Alanis Morissette. If you are looking for an opening band for July, whatever you're playing here, 25th.
I thought you were going to say Evanescence, but yeah, Alanis Morissette. That'd be a good one for you.
Okay, yeah. So Lacey, Sturm, Halestorm, Evanescence, Alanis Morissette. Those are like my top ones, female fronted ones.
Mine would be Alter Bridge, or honestly, I would definitely love to go out with Shinedown again, because those are some of the nicest dudes. Not only the band, but the crew as well are just like the nicest people in rock. You can't even believe how nice they are. And like, they'll come into our dressing room and be like, you guys got everything you need. Do you need anything from us? Like, we'll bring you some extra waters or something like that. It's like, wow, you guys are awesome.
That's sweet.
I'd also say Breaking Ben, like they're a really great one.
Yeah, that'd be a really good one.
Or Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
I mean, Breaking Ben makes sense. I'm worried about Foo Fighters. I'm worried about the future of Foo Fighters.
Dave Grohl. I'm worried about Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Yeah, what a heartbreaking loss that was.
Yeah.
We were playing a show that night, and we were all backstage, literally like a minute or two like before we were going to go on, and our drummer just comes back and tells us the news, and we're like, fuck. Like, one of our fans saw it on social media and stuff, so she told him, and then he came back and told all of us, and we're just like, how are we supposed to like play a show now in like 2 seconds? And our drummer walks out onto stage with the Sharpie and writes "For Taylor" on his drum head, and we're just like, okay, let's just like get ourselves together and do this. And yeah, it was pretty tough. It was pretty hard pill to swallow, but
yeah.
And then the next night we played a sold out crowd in Omaha, Nebraska, and we had recently done a cover of Times Like These, and like put out like kind of like a put together music video of just like some memories of the band and fun
band,
times.
yeah, not
our band, like before Taylor had passed. And so we did that cover at that next night's show, and that was pretty cool to just like have the whole crowd kind of join in singing that song. It was really good sense of community. And
yeah. Do you think they continue? I feel like they'd have to get a big, like, high profile drummer to like fill.
I don't know. Just like Dave's heart. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I really don't know.
It's hard to say. Dave is, more connected to that guy than
as
anyone since Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, and as a drummer, he lost his singer, and then as a singer, he loses his drummer. Like, what? I don't know. I think Dave Grohl goes on in some capacity. I don't know if Foo Fighters is going to go on.
Yeah, I agree with that. Unfortunately,
which is that sucks.
Yeah, it's like I said. I don't think it could. They would just fill that seat with anybody. It would have to be like,
no.
I don't know who you replace him with, but it had to be like a well-known, like almost like a tribute. every show.
Yeah.
And somebody that means a lot to Dave Grohl and the band.
And a Taylor,
it's got to be someone that, like when the Rev died for Avenged Sevenfold, they got the Rev's idol, Mike Portnoy, to fill in for, the next album in the tour. And like that made sense because, it's someone that the Rev idolized, and you kind of have to do the same thing in this situation where it's like, you can't just like find a really good drummer and just throw them in there and be like, all right, we're still the Foo Fighters. It's got to definitely be a tribute of some sort, and maybe even like a rotating sort of guest drummer thing. But
yeah, I guess we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm hoping that I have not seen my last Foo Fighters show.
Yeah, we were supposed to go to the Foo Fighters show. They were coming here in August.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're not anymore. So.
Yeah. But you guys had mentioned COVID and being worried about not playing. I mean, how did I don't want to talk too much about COVID. I feel like, it's been 2.5 years of that shit, but obviously it's had a big impact on everyone. Were you guys like freaked out about COVID? Did you guys like kind of lock down? Were you, okay to move about, being around each other? Like, how did that work out for you guys?
Well, we were kind of in a situation where with our day jobs, we weren't like, well, at least I was back to work immediately. I'm a brewer, and I closed down.
No way.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
For 7 days, if that. Like, it was like a Thursday, Friday. Like, my boss had called me and been like, all right, we're closing down for a little bit. We don't know when we're coming back. It's super sad, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday, he calls me. He was like, all right, so we're kind of picking up things again, and we need you in tomorrow. And it's just literally back into it because, beer is essential.
Right.
We're deemed essential. So, and literally we started doing crowlers that day, and we'd never done them before. And we were selling 2,000 to 3,000 a week out of the tap room, just like people taking them to go. And it was definitely a big change in that regard for our work lives. But as far as us being around each other and like our daily life, everyone's always talking about like the whole like being stuck at home all the time, and we didn't experience any of that. Our bass player was a server. Well, yeah, at the time he was a server, and he, wasn't serving. He got paid, by the government on a weekly basis to go ride his bike around in the parks and enjoy the weather, and like more than I was making at the time. And I was just like, you bastard.
I mean, and it definitely affected us, like, as a band. Like, we weren't playing shows, like, and for us, like, that's the biggest way to get like in front of new people and get our music out there. So like it really sucked not being able to play shows and like all these plans. So basically right before COVID happened in February of 2020, we went out on tour with Another Lost Year, and like we went on this 2-week tour in February, and then we were going to come back for a little bit, and we had all these plans of like going on tours throughout that whole year of 2020, and that all just got freaking, whatever, like that went out the window. So like all these plans of grandeur and like these ideas that we had in our heads, like everything just went out the freaking window. And we obviously didn't get to see each other as much, and like him and I lived together, and so we were lucky with that, like when it came to writing. But like when it came to writing, which is what we were doing to get ready for obviously this like next album cycle, sometimes, I mean, and we've talked about this a lot, he's talked about it a lot, where it was really hard to find like inspiration for songs and that kind of thing. And a lot of bands really drew inspiration from COVID and were able just to get together and write. But for us, it was a little harder. But then once inspiration hit, like obviously we just ran with it, and now we have this new album almost coming out. But COVID
Yeah. Most people assume
Sucked.
if you're in a band and you're not playing shows, that it's like, oh, great, so you got all this time to record a new album, right? It's like, well, if you want the songs to be really shitty and not very good because there's nothing to write about, like there's no inspiration from anything because you're not out doing anything and experiencing anything. So, like I could sit at home and tool around with my guitar and look at a screen and be like, all right, time to piece something together. But
and it's just easy to get into that slump when you're like literally not doing anything every single day.
That was my biggest concern about, bands, just not being able to perform, because that's part of like this outlet that, was taken from so many of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's definitely an energy that you take home from those, like even just like one-off weekend shows. You come back feeling energized and being like, what would be an awesome song that we could play live? In that scenario, again, you kind of gets your brain going, like, what's the next song going to be and what am I writing next?
Yeah, we tried to really keep up with things and like do like online like live like acoustic things and that kind of thing. So we really did try to keep up on that kind of stuff. But like there's just a certain inspiration that you draw from being a live band in front of fans and in front of people. Like there's just that certain energy that was missing like during that time for sure.
Yeah, I think it gives you an opportunity to work on songs too and see how the audience responds to them. If you play the song that like no one even like really gets a good vibe with, you can be like, all right, we'll scrap that or we'll change it or whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not gonna have that. So, were you able to stay COVID free?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I've never had COVID. So
good for you.
Yeah, it's been,
me either.
I know people that have had it 3 or 4 times, so it's kind of amazing to me that I've hugged people with COVID, so has she, and like found out after the fact, still didn't get it. Like I got a cough the other day, did an at-home COVID test
yesterday.
Yeah, so.
I
mean, not to like out our bass player, but so we went down to Daytona a couple weeks ago, and no, you were groaning. Shit. Whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna out him. On our way down to Daytona, so we're like already been in the car for like 20 something hours together. Like he found out his wife had COVID. Luckily, they hadn't had like a whole lot of contact because obviously we were driving down to Daytona. So we were lucky enough, like we tested when we got, when we were able to, and we all tested negative, but yeah, it's just. Yeah,
that would have sucked being in a van with someone who's got COVID and just literally it's
like, oh, what do you do? You can't do anything.
Sharing the same air. Yeah. I brought it back from Disney with me.
From Disney.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn it, Disney.
I know, right?
Damn it, Mickey Mouse.
And I'll tell you what, I had a very mild case. I wouldn't have even tested if we weren't traveling, and then we were just going to go see my wife's parents, who are in their mid 70s, not in great health. So we just figured, all right, well, we've been traveling, we'll just test just in case, and
absolutely
came back positive. And I was like, I had like allergy like symptoms, and I have allergies, so I was like, I would never would have tested if we weren't going to see my in-laws.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
thankfully
crazy. A lot of what I hear nowadays is like people don't really have the serious symptoms the way that they used to. Like my dad, literally, he's a Scotch fan, and the way that he knew he had COVID is he got a little congested, picked up the Scotch, took a sip of it, couldn't taste a damn thing. He's like, all right, guess I got it. I'm going to get tested. And he had it, like he couldn't taste anything except for salt. Like he would eat, a piece of fruit and taste salt. And it was
weird.
2 or 3 months of that. So luckily it went away, but.
Yeah, my best friend had it and she couldn't taste or smell for like months, even after like, COVID's weird. It's crazy.
Well, here's something for you. So I'm at work. This probably started last week, and I smell cigarette smoke. And I thought maybe, where the area is where people take their breaks. I thought maybe a door had been open and maybe the breeze blew down the hallway and up in my corner of the building. And there was times I got up and looked, and then sure shit, the door's open. But there was times I kept smelling it, and the door wasn't open. So I'm like, that's strange. Maybe there's like it's coming through the vents somewhere. I don't know. But I'm losing my mind. I'm going crazy. I'm having people in the office saying, sit in my chair. Do you smell cigarette smoke? They're like, no. I'm like, God. I'm like, am I going to sit here at work and like die from secondhand smoke? Like what's going on here, right? So then I get home. It was like last night, and I'm at home, and I'm in my house. I don't smoke. My wife doesn't smoke. I'm in my house, and I smell cigarette smoke, and I'm like, something's going on here. Yep. So I Googled it. It turns out that there are hundreds of thousands of people who are experiencing the same thing, who had tested positive for COVID, and they're going through this.
No.
I heard about, on the radio. I listened to
I've never heard that.
On the show here. Someone's spouse got COVID, and for the next like month or two was like, you smell cigarettes right now? Like cigarette smoke. And all of them on the show were just like kind of talking through it and being like, well, it's got to be a symptom, because how else, like none of their family smokes, like at home. That's literally crazy. Smelling cigarette smoke out of nowhere. And that's the first I'd heard of that. And now it's one of those confusing random traits.
What a shitty side effect.
I know. It's just like, what is going on here?
Like,
I can't. And that's why I'm like, you always hear about the whole, respiratory and the smelling of all that kind of stuff with COVID. So I'm like, I bet you something that's going on here with COVID related. Sure shit. Yeah.
Why can't it ever be something like green beans now taste like marshmallows,
Yeah. Like, or why can't I just smell like cotton candy all day or something?
Yeah.
Like cigarette smoke of all things.
Yeah.
Like celery tastes like steak.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be amazing. I would lose so much weight.
I know, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why can't we have a good disease side effect for once?
Bad shit that makes you lose weight.
The new craze, everyone's getting COVID-3.
Fucking ringworm or something. Tapeworm.
Oh, tapeworm.
Not ringworm. Tapeworm.
I don't want to get into tapeworm, so I'll never eat sushi again.
I just heard about pinworms the other day.
Oh, no.
Did you hear those? I never heard, like, a friend of mine, their friend, his kid had pinworms. I'm like, what is that? And he told me what it was. I'm like, what? That's terrible.
I don't know what pinworms are, and I don't want to know just by the sound of it.
What are pinworms?
So, well, I guess they come out your butt.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess like what happens, like if you, I guess it's kind of from, I don't know if it's from fecal matter or whatever, but like people who like bite their nails and things like that, it's some kind of like bacterial. I don't even know. Yeah, well, don't start. But yeah, so it's like, and then like it travels through, and then they come out your butt. I mean that's.
All right.
I really hope that you use the thumbnail of her going like this as the thumbnail for the podcast. If you, oh my God, just us very disturbed.
Yeah, there you go. Well, and then it's funny because like he told me that story after I was cleaning out my shed, and I don't know how many years, we just bought this house a couple years ago, so like I was cleaning it out, and there had been like mouse droppings in it. So like I'm in there sweeping up, and I'm cleaning up in there, and I'm like thinking to myself, oh my God, I hope I like, not that I bite my nails at all, but I mean I was like around it. I'm like, oh my God, what if I don't want worms coming out my butthole.
Does anyone want worms coming out of their butthole?
I mean, I'm sure.
That's the most disturbing thing.
I bet you in this world, there's probably at least one person who's gets turned on by that.
I can guarantee you, I've never said that sentence though.
Murderer.
I've never had to say that sentence.
Only on the Popko project. and on
I want worms coming out my butthole.
No, I don't want worms coming out of my butthole.
On that note, I will let you guys go.
Sweet.
I don't want to take up too much of your time tonight. So I love your band. I'm a huge fan. Again, when I came on here and I'm in disbelief of you guys not being bigger than you are. I'm sincere about that. I think you have a bright future for what that's worth. Where can people find you on the internet?
On the internet, if you go to coldkingdom.com.
Okay, just kidding. Go ahead.
Coldkingdom.com has all the links to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, any social media that you're looking for, and then our store page as well. You can go to our store tab and buy t-shirts. You can buy hard copies of all our music. We've got hats right now. We got what else do we have? We have
t-shirts,
personalized signed lyric canvases.
Oh yeah, request those.
And then also
that's painstaking for me.
Yeah, it takes a while. And then on the front page, you can find our newest music video for Agony and all the links that you need for the lyrics and the music video for Criminal as well. So
request Criminal and Agony on your local radio stations. That is very helpful and wonderful.
Yes.
For us. And we're on TikTok now, so that's a thing.
I'm trying to do that. But I'm not like I use that for I find a lot of humor in that. And I'm not funny. So it's like I don't know how to translate what I do to that platform.
We're all just figuring it out, man.
It's a lot so I have a page for this whole project, and most of it's like my kid or like my wife. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing.
We should really focus on our dogs more, but we're trying to make it about the music and the band.
Right, of course.
So yeah, TikTok. We've been doing a lot of reels lately. So if you want to see, the band shenanigans, definitely check us out on the Insta and the Facebook and the TikTok.
Cool. Well, congrats again on your marriage.
Thanks.
Get to that year mark. You'll be all right.
Oh yeah.
I think we'll be okay.
I mean, I guess you're kind of considered newlywed still, right?
I don't know.
That's a year, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we both know what we signed up for, so I think we'll be all right.
You'll be all right. I mean, you'll be all right. But, and get to the East Coast, will you please?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Get to the East Coast.
That's a big one for me.
And if you're going to do that, hit me up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For sure.
I mean, we'll make a stop. Where are you? Are you in Pittsburgh? Or?
No, it's further east than that. Scranton, I guess, would be the... Yes. Yes.
Like the Office?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay. Our new favorite person.
I was not in the office.
He's
by Scranton, though. He's by Scranton.
Yes, I used to work directly in Scranton.
You did?
Yeah, when I was in radio. Yep.
That's awesome.
Shit, that's so cool. Yeah, we're office geeks. So.
Yeah, I used to drive to the office every day and past that welcome to Scranton sign every day.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, and then I used to work for like a weekly entertainment newspaper, and it was called The Weekender, and you can find a lot of Weekenders in the show.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I used to mail them out to California, I think it was, wherever they've actually filmed it. Yeah, so they would have like stuff that like existed in our area, like on the show for real, which was neat.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So
one of the podcasts I'm listening to right now is
Office Ladies.
It's Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey.
And then I listened to the one. What was his name again?
Brian Baumgartner.
Yeah, the guy that plays Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
That whole Office thing. Yeah. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, every now and then we have some of those guys and girls come visit, so it's kind of neat. But when I first came out, I didn't really get into it. I don't think I was like of the age, or just my sense of humor may not have been at that right place, so I didn't get into it till after it was already over.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of found it later.
I found it later
in the run, or after Netflix started putting it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, Cold Kingdom, thank you guys so much. I wish you guys the best of luck, and hopefully,
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
yes, thank you very much. And I'll see you guys on the interwebs until you guys visit the East Coast.
Oh yeah.
All right.
See you soon.
Sounds
Thanks.
good.
We'll see you.
And